Good evening, everyone. Welcome along to the final round of Season 16 Apex Online Racing Sprint Cup Series. This is the 7th and final round here at the Red Bull Ring. It is almost certainly going to be an absolutely fantastic one. Cars have just started qualifying, and Z-Tech is our first car out there for We Bros. Obviously, big shout out to our sponsors, Driver 61 and our lovely patrons. Links for Driver 61 and our Patreon available in the bio, the description, below this stream, and will be available on the VOD. Also, sign up in the Discord as well. Links again below. Sign up if you want to take part in next season. There's tiers all the way from 1 down to 10. And there is good racing for absolutely everyone. This is Tier 2 this evening. See, Tier 1 was here last night, where Aidan Walsingham managed to just about snatch away first place in the championship after coming into it with only 1 point between them. Right, we are now about to begin the first flying lap, so we will jump on board. It is very loud. The McLaren's one of the fastest and loudest cars you're going to see here. Right, hard on the brakes into turn 1, into Nicky Lauda corner, or Curver, sorry. He's got a car exiting the pits just in front of him, moves to the side. So flat out down towards Remus now. Again, this is another slightly over 90-degree turn. A hard right-hander, throws it in. Good chunk of inside the curve there. Here the traction control working hard to stop it from lighting up too much as he now heads downhill towards Schlossgold. Slightly less aggressive corner, but it is sort of longer at the same time. So long left of right-hander here again. Opens up slowly. And then getting hard on the brakes again now. Swinging it in left into Rouge. It's almost double apex corner here. Come all the way out to the outside. A little bit of a moment of straight time before getting on the brakes and throwing it into Worth. Getting on the power nice and early there. Nice chunk of exit curb. Before coming up and over the crest towards Rint, our penultimate turn. Also, just a quick one, there's the pit entry line just there, so you have to get into that pit lane very early. Then the final corner, the Red Bull Mobile, before the final sprint towards the line. This is going to be our first chance to see what kind of lap times we're going to be seeing here. And it was it turns out it wasn't actually the first driver out there to set a lap time. Scheckerman was the first one. I believe Scheckerman is in the... Which one is Scheckerman? Scheckerman's in the Porsche. Let's have a quick jump on with Scheckerman. Yes, for the IRL Endurance Racing Team. Craig Law currently set the fastest lap. No, we haven't. Dorber has now come back and taken away pole position. Probably going to see lots and lots of changing around. So, brief idea while we're here with just over 11 minutes of qualifying left to go. Let's have a quick run through the championship. Melvin Crowe's currently in first place in the championship with 448 points. And he has an 81-point lead over Imran Azar. Joe Dorber running in third. Then Mr. Jones, Craig Law, Nathaniel Shirley in sixth. Smulders in 7th, Z-Tech in 8th, Gilroy in 9th, and Chirich in 10th. So, although Melvin Crowe's is 81 points ahead, if his race does not go to plan, he could end up still losing this. If Azar has a good one, and at the moment, looking at his qualifying time, he is having a very good one. So sticking with Scheckerman as he comes across the line, now bumps himself all the way up. Let's see if we can jump on with Melvin Crowe's, our current championship leader, who is set at 128.1. Oh, getting all out of shape there, though. That has lost him some significant time. Looking for people further down the order that are on a big run. Craig Law has got himself up into pole position. None of the sector blitz racing cars, but then it has abandoned the next lap. Who's got on big ones? Declan Brogan for K-Pax Racing. Coming towards the end of his lap, 0.6 up on the lap time. This should see him well inside the top 10 if it's clean. I say last night we did see a few people picking up track limits penalties, getting a drive through. 11th place, so just outside the top 10. That was a quick time, but still just outside. Right, Zach Vermack jumping on board in the BMW, car number 47. This should be a whopper of a time, up into 13th place. Big improvements there. So Joe Dorber, running in 6th place at the moment, is on a bit of a fly here, though. He's 4/10 up on the lap as we speak. And this should be enough for pole position if he can hang on to it for the moment. He is just lost a little bit of time there through that middle sector, but the car's still looking pretty racy out there at the moment. So coming across the line, this should put him in pole. He's in 6th place as he comes across the line. There we go, a 1:27.7, and he is a good old distance ahead of everyone else. Melvin Crowe's about to come across the lines. Our championship leader at the moment, Sector Blitz Racing, gets himself up into 2nd place. Much quicker than what he was being able to do in practice sessions. So for ST Racing and 2nd place in the championship, Azar is currently up on his lap. It doesn't look like it's going to be enough to put him on pole, but it should be at least 1 or 2 positions gained. Dorber and Crowe's so unbelievably close at the moment. Nothing between them, and in fact Crowe's is still improving. So coming towards the line, Azar was in 4th, gets himself up into 2nd place. Jumping on board with Villaves. Oh, and in fact, Melvin Crowe's running just in front of him as well. Both drivers, Melvin Crowe's and Villaves, are on improvements. Although they both lost significant time there through the middle section. In fact, Melvin Crowe's has now lost time. Villaves is still very much on a push. We just saw Crowe's actually jump into the pits there. So Villaves going for this one. This should gain him at least 1 position. We'll see how good it was. It was really good for that final turn. I think he's had a pretty decent run. Gets himself up into 4th place. So people further down on a bit of a flyer. McGonigal. That lovely ICGT Racing Esports Mustang. Looking very nice with those sort of red underlit lights at the front. Looking almost demonic. Matching the absolutely furious sound that this thing makes. 15th place as it comes across. Now up into 10th. Big jump up the order. A Simtech Racing. Here we go. We have got Lee Shout. Was in 13th place, but this is a good lap. 3/10 up and gets himself up inside. Up into the 6. That's a very good position. Now we go back over to Oliver Braun. Still very early in the lap. In fact, he's only just gone through turn 1, but he was on an improvement. This is for HQTH Sim Racing. Oliver Braun. And that lovely Ferrari. Let's jump on the dashboard of this Ferrari. Throws it into Roush, rolls on the throttle, gets a decent amount of power there, leading it as late as possible, throwing it into work. You can hear the brakes just squeaking that little bit. Rolling on with it now, seeing what they can do. Still 2/10 up on the lap. Got his 16th at the moment. People around him improving. A couple of positions. He's dropped down just over the space of this lap, but there should be a decent improvement. Still 0.3 up on the lap. What can he do? Up into 8th place. Huge jump up through the order. He'll be very pleased with that one. And we have Ben Gilroy, who is on a decent old flyer here for Optimum Motorsport. Currently running in 15th place. And a whopping time coming out of this. This could really see him fly up into second place. A massive jump up the order. 4.5 minutes after qualifying, and that has definitely put a cat amongst the pigeons. So it is now Joe Dorber first, Gilroy in second, Azar in third, Melvin Crows down in fourth, and Vives fifth. And still with times rolling in, we've also got Brian Scheckerman on a big run. Saw him go a little bit deep there, though. Not sure how the car's going to fare, and that lap time, that definitely would have affected it. Well, the only thing I'm noticing is that Gilroy has got quite a high amount of ping, so we'll have to see how that car does throughout the session. And in fact, Scheckerman has now lost time. So no improvements for Scheckerman, sorry. Right, back on board with Lieshout. Again in the 100 car, running in 7th place at the moment, but on a really good run. If he can keep this together, this should be pole position. Still up on the lap at the moment. 3/10 up. This is going to be big time. 4/10 up. This could be an absolute whopper of a lap. And here it comes. Oh. And that was very strange. The lap abandoned. So maybe that was a case of he may have known he had messed that one up. Oh, and as soon as I jump on with Scheckerman as well, he decides to abandon the lap. Vermac, please don't abandon the lap. Let's keep an eye on someone. 10th up on their time at the moment. Melvin Crows as well is sort of dancing around the idea of an improvement. 2 minutes 40 left of qualifying. It is still very much all to play for here. There is time to get things done. So, Vermac still up on his lap time. Up into 19th place. There we go. We saw Melvin Crows. No obvious improvement coming his way, but you never know. But Azar and Gilroy are doing big improvements, and so is Joe Dorber. There we go. Crows up into pole position. Timing board made no indication that that was going to be the case, but there we go. Absolutely flying. So Azar and Gilroy have now got to try and bring the fight back to them. Ben Gilroy is about to come across the line any second now and does put himself back in pole position. But this might be the one to keep an eye on, is Azar is on a big, big roll. Such incredibly close lap times today. I mean, you've only got to look at the timing board at the moment. Over 23 cars within a second of each other. Here comes Azar. This could be a big improvement. It's a 1:27.4. That is a huge jump up the order. And a big, big signal to people around him that he has got some amazing pace here this evening. Fernando for Fernando Racing. Currently up on his lap as well. I think he lost a little bit of time there. The Mercedes obviously struggling in that middle sector of the circuit. Big one to jump on board with actually now, though. It's going to be Nathaniel Shirley coming across the line. Car number 46, Ford Performance. Again, the Mustang looking very beefy, up into 13th place. A real mixed season so far for Nathaniel Shirley. There you go. So we now have 20 cars within a second of each other. Towards the end of this lap, things are really starting to heat up. I think this might be Crows on another improvement. It is, but not enough to take away pole position. Now running in second place with a 1:27.6. Still just shy of 2/10 back on Azar, although Azar has gone into the pits, obviously deciding that's it, he's all done. In fact, some of our big top drivers are starting to do that as well now. Quick jump on board with Sims, who appeared to be on a bit of an advantage. Also Zaytek as well on a bit of a pull. Work out. Zetek's about to come across the line actually, so we'll keep a bit of an eye on that, where they go. They were in 10th place, and And they now find themselves all the way up into 5th place. Really good lap from them. Time being lost here for Paul Sims. Jay Jans, though, this is a driver who is on an improvement. A 10th up on their time. I think this is going to be one of the last drivers out there that is still improving. Vermac as well. We just saw a very brief moment of possible improvement. Yellow flag up ahead, but I think that's just a car pulling over, getting ready to go back to the pits. So Jay Jan, a little bit of a squirrely moment there as he came through Rint. I think he just about managed to hold it together and didn't lose too much time. So 23rd before the line, and what are we going to get here? Up into 21st place, and that is the end of qualifying. So let's have a quick run through the old championship points as they are. So Melvin Crows for Sector Blitz Racing, currently in 1st place in the championship. Imran Azar, 2nd place. Joe Dorber in 3rd. Mr. Jones, 4th. Craig Law in 5th. Nathaniel Shirley, 6th. Jip Smolders, in 7th. Zatek in 8th. Gilroy in 9th. And 10th is Chirich. But it is all to play for at the moment. 1st place, I'll admit, is a little bit locked down. There's no point denying that. But a little bit further down the order, and it is still very much to play for. There is only 15 points between 2nd and 3rd. Dorber in 3rd, and obviously then Jones in 4th. There's only 1 point between them. So realistically, whoever finishes in front of each other is going to take away that position. Craig Law, again, is only 34 points behind as well of Mr. Jones. So it is all to play for, and it is not all sewn up with 100 points and 88 points available for 1st and 2nd respectively. There is a possibility, if something goes really wrong for Melvin Crows and he finds himself way outside the points, there is a possibility that he cannot win this. So at the moment, he's in 3rd place. It's looking all right, but his main championship rival is just in front of him. It's going to be a close one. But now let's get to the race in hand, and let's have a quick run through the grid order as it stands on the circuit right now. Pole position is Mr. Azar, car number 25, pole position. Joe Dorber in 2nd place. Melvin Crows in 3rd. Ben Gilroy 4th. Zetek in 5th. Viaves 6th. Craig Law in 7th. Chirich in 8th, Callins in 9th, and rounding out the top 10 is Lee Shout in that lovely, lovely 100 car, and it has got the best livery in the world. It's got a Cars livery. Who doesn't love a little bit of a Luigi and Guido? Absolute legends. Right, continuing on, 11th place is Orishkin. 12th is Braun. Nathaniel Shirley in 13th place. Robert R. Larvey in 14th place. Bozico in 15th place. Sheckerman 16th. McGonigal in 17th place. 18th place is Vermac. 19th is Brogan. 20th is Fernando. J. Jans in 21st. Paul Sims 22nd. Satam in 23rd. Zorich in 24th. And Machowski in 25th. So not the fullest grid we have ever seen, but it is almost certainly going to be an absolutely fantastic race. Anyway, just about a minute to go until we start the beginning of our formation lap. You know what? We're going to stick with this nice camera that kind of sits all the way back, and we should get a nice view of them all as they start coming up the hill. So, final round, getting ready to rock and roll. It is going to be a fantastic end to the season, I have no doubt. Going to be pretty action-packed if Tier 1 was anything to go by yesterday. Turn 1 and Turn 2, and even Turn 3 as well. It was some very, very close bumper-to-bumper stuff. Luckily, there wasn't too many incidents. Obviously, as they finish the race this evening, it is still open to stewards' inquiries. So there is the possibility that we may see a little bit of change. But hopefully, as long as everyone keeps it clean and stays out of trouble, then no one will get penalties and it'll all be absolutely hunky-dory. But they should be just about to start rolling towards their formation lap. And yes, there we go. You can see now just starting to roll forwards. And Azar makes his way up towards turn 1 for the first time. And this will be the last time they go through this corner steadily, has to be said. From this point onwards, it's going to be an absolute blast. And absolutely fantastic to hear all those cars rumbling on past, with Daniel Shirley there thundering up towards the camera. Almost certainly rattling the teeth loose in the cameraman. So you can see Azar working that car hard to try and get those tyres up to temperature, coming to almost a complete stop and then gunning the throttle again to try and get some temp into it. You can see at the moment all in single file. Well, a couple of little overlaps, but that's fine. So obviously at the moment, everybody trying to get as much heat into the brakes, then into the wheels, and then transfer that into the tyres as well. So lots of swerving you'll see, but also you'll see lots of heavy acceleration and heavy braking, just trying to get as much temperature as possible, but without doing too much damage to the tyres immediately. Obviously the tyres, quite hard to keep them at the optimum temperature while going at these slower speeds. Just looking now, I don't think Jones is actually here for this one, which is a real shame, because obviously there was a very close battle in the championship, but it's gonna go the way of Joe Dauber on that one. There's only 1 point between them, and that does also mean that Craig Law obviously has quite a decent chance of gaining another position here. So, just now waiting for the final few cars to make their way. They will start stacking up, ready for turn 1. Obviously, rolling start in GT3. And now you can see them getting ready. Okay, we are jumping up to our lead cars. The big one here is going to be Kroos and Azar. 81 points between them. Azar has got to get a really good finish, second or third. I mean, so first or second, really. And Kroos not finished for him to lose the championship. He really just needs to score some points, then he should be able to do it. So this is the final run to the line. So for the 7th and final time this season, waiting for the lights to go green. And they do go green. 60 minutes of intense racing starts now. The final for the championship all kicks off here into turn 1. Looking like Gilroy's already got a bit of a move going. Oh, Azar goes super, super deep into turn 1. Miles off the road. Rose and Gilroy still having a good old squabble. Gilroy's just got his nose in front. He's going to have the inside as well for turn 2. Let's see what he can do here. Kroos tried to go all the way around the outside but wasn't quite able to, and he's now lost the overlap. He now sits in behind, but there's a decent little run coming up. Just saw a yellow flag pop up for car number 42 and a couple of cars obviously slowing to avoid any kind of incident. This is the main one to keep an eye on at the moment. Who can get the car switched on the quickest? Oh, a little bit of a bump in the background there. I think that was Law and Viaves just having a little bit of a rub against each other. I think the Lexus obviously maybe a little bit more confident on the brakes as opposed to the Aston Martin, although we did see that car looking very, very strong in the hands of Jardier yesterday. Obviously pretty much dominated all of Tier 1 racing yesterday. Right, so back up at the pointy end of the field. At the moment, Azar just about holding on to it. Dauber still nibbling away at his heels. Gilroy has also managed to close up on this battle for first place. And then Kroos has just dropped away ever so slightly. Maybe he's looking after his tyres. He doesn't want to overwork them straight away. But in the background as well, lots of squabbles going on further down the order. Callens versus Vives. Callens is possibly going to look to the inside for turn 1. Is he going to be able to do anything as well? You've got Learshout right on the back of Chirich as well. This could be the run that Callens needs. He's looking to the inside. I don't think there's quite enough of an overlap. That Lexus is an absolute freight train in a straight line, managing to pull away and keep an absolutely thunderous amount of pace. But up the inside of Chirich goes Learshout. That's a decent old move up the inside. He's going to struggle to maybe take the power out of the corner, but we'll have to see how it goes. Doesn't manage to do it. The Porsche outperforming as he exited the corner, but they're now up side by side in front. So Law has dropped back a few positions. Oh, big bump between the Lexus there, Vives and that's Zetec, isn't it? Yeah, Zetec. Zetec now holding onto that inside line, and because of that, the door has been opened and it has now allowed Law to have a little look. Not quite able to get it done though. Vives in the 420 Lexus, very quick in some places and not quite as quick in others. Craig Law now just being passed, or maybe not. He's going to actually have the inside. He's managed to hold on to it. Sector Blitz Racing, Craig Law does manage to hold on to that position and keeps himself in 7th place. Again, just behind it, Chirich versus Learshout. Learshout going to have the inside into turn 1. What can he do here? Nothing. Has to back out of the turn. Can't quite take advantage of it. But again, we're probably going to see a change of position as they come thundering down towards turn 2. And in fact, the Ferrari does have the legs this time. It's going to be on the outside, though. But it's nearly going to be 3 wide towards the corner, depending on how brave Braun is. Does decide to back out of it, but lost a lot of momentum and is now under attack himself from Oreshkin. Braun just about being able to do it, but he's got 2 BMWs coming up behind him. One beside, one just behind him. They push in hard. Car number 47 there. Vermac looking to the inside, trying to take advantage. Looks like he might just gain the position over his BMW brethren. Going to be on the outside here. Yes, does get the move done. And now has the opportunity to go after the back of Braun. Have to see what they can do. Even further back down the order. Again, now we have Brogan versus Sheckerman. He's just managed to get the move done, although Sheckerman's going to try and come back at him. Who's going to have the quickest line out of the corner? Sheckerman. Decent run here towards the penultimate turn. What can he do? He's going to be on the outside, though. Not quite able to do it. Brogan did just about manage to get that K-Pax Racing Lamborghini just in front of him and close the door off. So up near the front, things are kind of stretched out a little bit. You can now see that Azar is starting to pull away. Corber running in second for being chased down by Gilroy. Crows sniffing around the back of them as well, hoping maybe for a little bit of a mistake from someone. Here we go, side-by-side action again, though. Vives just gets his nose in front of Zetec before the corner. He's going to be on the outside. Who's going to get the best run here? To be fair, Zetec did a good job of getting that car up and running. Oh, car number 189. We are seeing a yellow flag for car number 189, and that is Robert Arlavi. We're going to go back 10 seconds, see if we can catch that. Ooh, big old pile up there. Now, we didn't catch all of what happened there. Hopefully, we might be able to go a little bit further back. 30 seconds back. Yes, we can. So this is down towards turn 2. Gets on the brakes. Goes to put the car in. Oh, and he gets a big bump for the car number 916. Everyone doing the right thing and holding the brakes there, but quite a few cars involved in that. It was only not really the biggest of hits, but it was right when he was on the power and it just completely unsettled the car. So back to it. Azar now pulling away. Oh, we have lost. Who did we lose there? We've got Gilroy still there. Dorber's dropped right back. Typically, go on one thing and we miss another. We'll go back for Dorber and see what happens. It's already happened by this point. So something happened in that middle section of the circuit that drops Dorber right back off of that main intense racing. So jumping on board now waiting for the timer to catch itself back up. I think we're going to see that Zetec is in quite the battle once we move away from the replay. Come on, cameramen, show us what we want to see. There we go, and yes, it is close. And actually, Law has managed to make his way through, and Learshout is now right on the back of Zetec. Again, you can see the Aston starting to settle in, looking like quite a strong car here again this evening. Further back as well, we've got Braun trying to go around the outside of Chirich. Will he be scared away by the strong anime girl he has on the wing? In fact, it has... Ooh, big bump between Vermac and Braun there. Braun has to go all the way through the gravel. Nathaniel Shirley takes advantage of that slow-going Ferrari and gains one position. And under braking as well, there might be another position lost here. Oh, bit of a rub. I just don't think he quite expected the BMW to still be there. Just clipped the back end of it. Nothing malicious, just a little bit of a misjudgment. Trying to carry as much speed as he possibly can. Braun is desperate to try and gain a position back. He's going to be on the outside for turn one, though. What can he do here? Don't think he's going to be able to do it. Yes, he can. In fact, Oreshkin almost gives the position back, so whether or not he was a bit worried about possibly getting in trouble for that, I'm not entirely sure, but it definitely wasn't anything that we could see between those two that seemed wrong. Crows has now set the fastest lap of the race. Gilroy being chased down by Crows at this point. Zetec now finds himself under attack from a fast approaching Italian. It's a very quick car. But in fact, now the Italian finds itself in the middle of a British sandwich. It's McLaren, Ferrari, McLaren. It's going to be very squeezed up. Just starting to be able to pull away just that little bit. Jumping aboard with Nathaniel Shirley, who's got quite the cluster of cars coming up behind him. He's had a brilliant lap last time round. His fastest lap actually was a 1:29.6. He's been battling his way through traffic, and the battle behind them between Vermac and Braun continues on. We saw a lap ago them have a little bit of a rub. And they've changed positions again over the space of this lap. Oh no, I do apologise. That was Oreshkin we saw change at the beginning. On a big charge at the moment. This is the sort of battle in and around for 11th place. I believe that is Jay Jans coming out of the pits. Only done 10 minutes of racing and decided to pit. So a very early pit stop. Oreshkin under attack now from Brogan. Brogan looks to the outside. Can he get anything done here at turn 2? Going to have to go all the way around the outside. Can he get the Lambo to hook up and exit? Yes, he can. Gets it done. Really decent bit of driving there. The Red Panda Racing BMW just being passed by the K-Pax Racing Lamborghini. It was a decent move and a big dive to the inside as well. Does back out of it. That was Bozico. Oh, but a mistake. A mistake from Oreshkin. And that means he's out on the gravel. So I believe this is Jay Jans trying to gain positions. As far as I'm aware, that car... Or is that Fernando? No, I believe that's Jay Jans. Let's have a double check. It is Jay Jans. There in the middle of the pack. So currently running in 25th position. But he's the only driver to complete his mandatory pit stop. And he is not in last place on the circuit. So, realistically, this should be pretty decent when everyone else comes into pit. Right, jumping back up through the order a little bit. Viaves versus Law. This one is starting to become a little bit spicy. We saw the Lexus looking very strong at the beginning of this race. Maybe it's just dropped a little bit of pace now. He's lapping just over a second slower than it was at the beginning of the race. Whereas Craig Law is still putting in fairly consistent and close laps. So Law could definitely be one to keep a little bit of an eye on. Further back in the race, here we go. We've got our Larby versus Scheckerman, Porsche versus Porsche. Now, the two cars, we saw them earlier on, picking up a fair bit of damage down at turn 2. Okay, neither of them, from what we could see, at fault for that incident. But yes, there was a little bit of a bump here. a little while back. This is turn 3, gets it done. Scheckerman just seeing if he can hold onto it and try and get up the inside. Not quite able to, but he is on the offensive. We're going to jump on board now, actually with Fernando, who is just behind them. Let's jump on board, get an idea of what the battle looks like on raging on in front. The pair of Porsches pushing very hard. Try and say pair of Porsches 10 times quickly without stuttering. Oh, and I think actually we may have just seen Scheckerman come into the pits. Looked like he dived across the circuit to that right-hand side. Yes, and I'm going to vote he is coming into the pits. We'll see that pop up in a minute. So obviously, Scheckerman deciding it was better to get the pit done as opposed to staying out there and seeing what he could possibly try and muster up. Oh, and I think we just caught a bit of a wobbly moment there for Fernando. Managed to hold it together. Another one of the cars that we saw involved in that earlier incident. Storokic for Sitka Racing, the 175. Lovely liveried little car as well. Do really like the bright liveries we're seeing on the Porsches this season. It's been absolutely fantastic. There has been some amazing liveries this season as well. I do have to say, for me, I think Chirich wins just because it's so fantastic. So Braun now squabbling it out with Bozico. Bozico looking like the aggressor in these two. Car number 334 versus car number 3. Two Ferraris, very evenly matched on pace. It's going to be a tough battle between them. Valladares now under attack from Craig Law. It's looking very, very close. What is going to happen here at turn 1? Is there going to be a bit of a dive up the inside? No, there isn't. They're both going to run nose to tail. See who can get the better run. Realistically, Law is in a better position here because he can get the toe. And he will want to try and get the inside line for turn 2. But is he going to be brave enough on the brakes? I'm not sure he is. I think the Lexus, yes, he is. He is brave enough on the brakes. Goes up the inside. Gets a full car's length ahead. Decent move there. And does switch across to go defensive. Has to try and cover off the line against the Lexus, but is now again going to be on the outside down here at turn 3. Can they get anything done? Does go to the outside. It's going to be all the way around the outside. It's going to have to be a long old run. I think the Aston has just got it and does just about hold on to the position. Can they do anything here? Under braking gives him room. But still, Law just about holding on to it. So Valladares down 1 position after setting the fastest lap of the race. Now finds himself losing positions. Things up at the front appear to be getting a little bit closer and spicier as well. Nothing between Gilroy and Azar at this point. Thankfully, all connection issues seem to have sorted themselves out for Gilroy. But he now finds himself 3/10 off the back bumper of Azar, and it is going to be a hard push. They're going to want to try and get this one. Again, at the moment, Kroos is probably thinking to himself, I'm quite happy with 3rd place. He just needs to make sure he comes across the line with some kind of points, and he should be able to hang on to it fairly well. What's going on further down the grid as well? Callens versus Learschau. Callens currently in the lead in this little duo of cars, chased down by Chirich, and that is Scheckerman, but obviously he's on a different lap now because of his pit. But these two side by side. Who is going to hold on to it into turn 2? It's going to be the long way around the outside for Learschau. Looks like he's still just about holding on to the overlap as well. Chirich trying to take advantage of it. Is he going to try and go 3 wide here? No, he's not. Is he going to try and get a bit of a switchback? Possibly. There was a little rub together there between the 100 and the 114. Don't think it was much more than just a little bit of rubbing as racing, but there was a definite bit of a bump between them, and Learschau has gained the position and goes on through ahead of Callens. Further back in the order, So this isn't actually for position. This is Orishkin versus Jay Jans. Jay Jans has already completed his pit stop. So not actually for position, this one. Jumping back into this mid-battle, and it's all heated up again at turn 1. Having to give room on the inside. Callins is now going for it. He's got the position back again from Learshout at turn 1. But I think they're always going to be 3 wide down towards turn 2. It's going to be very, very close. Got Chirich going to the outside. Those two going super defensive on the middle. Oh, it was never going to work for those two. That was a bit of a dark one, really, for the... It was just over defensive. We're going to go back 10 seconds to look at it. You can see in the braking zone, there was never going to be the room. They were both absolutely hugged to the inside line. And for all that squabbling, they end up losing the position. I mean, great for Chirich. He just cruised on through, didn't have any issues at all there, and just gained it. So Chirich, who was running in 10th, now finds himself in 8th. 2 positions gained. And that's the thing, sometimes when you squabble that little bit too hard, it just ends up biting you in the backside, as it were to say. So now Callins continues to run in 9th, and Learshout has found himself a little further down the order. There's a big old gap back to where he is in 10th. And so for now, Chirich in the Love Live Nico Yazawa car has really gained 2 positions, is very happy about that, and decent position to find themselves in. Jumped up the order. Oh, it's all going a bit hairy back at turn 1. So Nathaniel Shirley, Vermack and Brogan. So at as they cross the line, Nathaniel Shirley was actually in front of some of these guys and has now found himself dropped back. Oh, and there was a bump there just behind. And that was Oliver Braun. That was Braun. 10 seconds back. Let's see if we can spot what happened. Is it a case of swings it in? Oh, and gets collected by the 334 car of Bozico. And has to sit there a long time to safely rejoin. Did the right thing and held the brakes, but they'll be very disappointed in that. That has dropped them a lot of time. And there's been a change at the front. We'll go back 30 seconds to see if we can catch it. No, I don't think we are. I think it must have happened there between turn 1 and 2. But now Ben Gilroy finds himself in pole position for the moment. And Ben Gilroy obviously running in 9th place in the championship at the moment. Didn't attend our first 2 races. Had a 16th and a 12th, and then the last 2 races have been on the podium twice in a row. So it's been a good sort of a end to the season for this driver, and finds himself fairly up the order because of that big load of banking points for getting so near the top. So Gilroy now running in pole position, Azar right behind, and then Crows equally right behind as well. There is absolutely nothing between these drivers. But I think we might see Melvin Crows this lap possibly go a bit more on the offensive. Right, we're going to go on board with Melvin Crows, our championship leader at the moment, as he hunts after his main championship rival. Again, he doesn't even need to gain the position. He can hold on to this position and he should still take the win. 86 points, I believe it is. 81 points, sorry, between Azar and Crows. Maximum amount of points you can win is 100. 88 points is for second place. So he's got to be fairly down the order. In fact, he would pretty much have to be... We'd have to be into the 20s to even be worrying about losing the championship. So as long as he can keep going, this should be pretty tasty stuff for them. So for now, been the best part of a lap. Hasn't quite been able to gain the position. Azar still keeping pace, but not able to gain either. Jumping back here to Callins. Again, looking like he's in a really close battle, but that's not. That is a pitted car. Closer one going on further down, though. Oh, and there's a big moment into turn 1. We'll go back 10 seconds. You can see they all start to stack up as they come up towards turn 1. Nathaniel Shirley a little bit too late on the brakes. collects the back of the number 47. Really well held there by number 47. Oh, for some reason it changed camera for me. Thank you, I didn't want that. And Nathaniel Shirley getting passed by a back marker now of Jay Jans, but yeah, Shirley not having the race he would have wanted at all. And always nice to see the Sector Blitz Racing team getting involved in the chat. Good evening, Ben. Yeah, I think we've had pretty much all the lads on the stream so far. Obviously got Crows, who at the moment is still holding on to the championship. Law as well, been some really good stuff, just keeping himself out of danger at the moment, running in fifth place, sorry. And then Machowski, who is now running in 19th place. A little bit of no man's land for this driver at the moment, but still absolutely fantastic. Still in 19th place, still scoring points, and that is all that matters. He's banking points. It might be the end of the season, but it's got to be done. A bit of it, yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much, Ben. Always nice to get a shout out for myself. It's been an absolute pleasure. So, Tier 1 and Tier 2 have been covering this season. And only missed one round because I misbooked the holiday, so can't blame me too much for that one. Right, okay, people coming into the pits now. Nathaniel Shirley into the pits. Satam as well coming into the pits. Let's have a quick jump on with Callins, who... Now, this is the timing board having a bit of a wobble because it shows me the gap back to that Porsche, which is not actually in a battle with him at all, but it shows the gap as being there. Ben Gilroy has now started to extend his lead a little bit. We're now coming towards the middle point of the race. 36.5 minutes of the race left to go. This is where things could get heated up. Here we go. Troy Fraser-McGonigal for ICGT Racing. And suddenly he's got Fernando up the inside. Big move by Fernando to try and get the car up the inside. The back end of that Mercedes getting a little bit loose, it looked like, on the exit. McGonigal just about manages to hold on to it, maintains the speed. Got a few cars coming into the pits now. And in fact, there we go, Fernando is one of them, so a little bit of a sigh of relief possibly for McGonigal. That pressure is off. Right, Dorber into the pits, Zytek into the pits, Callins into the pits, Fernando into the pits. Whole bunch of cars starting to dive into the pits now. This gap closing right up though. Azar versus Gilroy absolutely flying. It was a much quicker lap last time from Azar as well. I think some of it was just, it was a bit of a bad lap from Gilroy. Not sure what happened last time round, but lost a lot of ground. He was nearly a second ahead and now finds himself a bit like the postman running from a pair of angry dogs after his heels. More cars into the pits as well. Zytek. I believe we already said we knew that Callins was in, but yes, more cars into the pits. And in fact, it's looking like Gilroy's coming into the pits. He's come right off the racing line. Yes, he has. And so is Crows. Crows coming into the pits. So Azar, the only one of our top three drivers to not come into the pits this lap. So obviously going to try and go for a slightly different strategy. Lots and lots of cars in as well. Craig Law into the pits. I see who isn't in the pits and who is. Lots and lots of cars coming in. Joe Dorber is going to be a good one to keep an eye on. Rebound Racing Pensioners. And so he was kind of running just outside the top three. He'd been right up there at the beginning and then dropped back a fair bit. So it's going to be good to see whereabouts on the road that comes out in comparison to people like Crows and Search. 2 corners left to go. I'm not sure it's worked for him. It's already looking like cars are leaving the pits as we speak. He's still yet to make it to the final turn. We're going to stick with Crows. With Dorber for a minute and see what happens as he comes across the line. He should gain a fair few positions as the pit stops start to sort themselves out. He's got a decent run. Everyone else has been released from the pits. He gets past number 226 of Law. And he will have a decent run. So I think he now finds himself essentially running in 4th place. But we'll have to wait to the end of all the pits to really know exactly where everyone is. Azar staying out. Vaevez now comes into the pits as well. Chirich hasn't pitted yet. Still running on. In fact, now we find Chirich coming into the pits as well. Leah Shout still out there flying at the moment. Declan Brogan, another car currently running in, let's say, 3rd on one screen, 5th on the other. So many people coming in and out of the pits. It is affecting the timing board quite significantly. No super close ones going on at the moment. Imran Azar still pushing absolutely hard in the ST Racing BMW. In fact, let's have a jump on board the BMW dash for just a moment. So Vaevez, Chirich and Vermac still in the pits. Peter Learschau pushing hard, to be fair, still improving on his lap times. And continuing on, Azar staying out for yet another lap, obviously happy with his pace, enjoying the bit of free air, the free running that he is now getting. The grid is so absolutely shuffled at the moment, it has to be said though. Very hard to make heads or tails of who is where and what is what. But at the moment, Gilroy is our leading pitted driver. And Gilroy is 10th on the road. Then he's got Melvin Crows about a corner behind, not too far, a little bit though. Then it is Joe Dorber, who has really done a convincing job of catching back up with this pack of drivers, actually. Learschat and Machowski coming into the pits as we speak. Ray Glaw on a decent run. This is obviously his outlap, but yeah, this is looking pretty good already. Sector Blitz Racing, we're very pleased with that. It's been some very good pace from that young man this evening. See what it is, it comes across the line. And that was a 128.4, so it looked very fast, but not as fast as we have seen. Brawn into the pits as well now. Vermac coming out of the pits, finding himself very much, well, it says outlap actually. Oh no, so he has already completed the lap. Finds himself with Sims right up behind him. There's yellow flags. Car number 46. Which one was car number 46? We'll see if we can find that quickly in the list. That is Nathaniel Shirley. That is okay. So I thought it was going to be pit exit, but it wasn't. This is coming up towards turn 1. This is Nicky Lauder. So gets on the brakes, puts the car in, and it just unsettles itself, and he loses it there. Big slide onto the grass, and a little bit of a bump into the old Armco there. So not too much damage there, but a little bit. Orishkin now diving into the pits as well. Wachowski, here we go, for Sector Blitz Racing, now having himself a little bit of a battle. Bozico right up behind him. Oh, look to the inside there, and the nose was sort of trimmed off. If he had a mustache, it's a lot shorter than it was before, because that was definitely a close shave between them. He's looking, though, like Bozico has got the pace. You can see him gaining on the back of him. Looks down the inside. Can't quite do anything there, though. Probably going to have to try and cue something up into turn 1. Trying to get a decent line here. Try and pull forward as much as he possibly can. Azar, the race leader, is now into the pits. So whereabouts on the circuit is Gilroy in comparison? Sort of about midway through the circuit. I think this could be a bit of a close one, it has to be said. Pros now set fastest lap of the race. 128.027. Fresh tyres and a lot less weight. Right, here we go. This is the big one. We're going to jump on board with Crows as he now comes towards the end of the lap. Car number 25 was leading and he is released, but he's miles back and it's lost out. The BMW has lost out pretty big time, and I think Melvin Crows might also stand a chance here of catching up. Maybe not. The BMW managed to get off the line and get going. But that gap has opened up a fair old bit now. Gilroy has done an absolutely fantastic job there of keeping the pace alive. Azar, though, is trying to get them tyres switched on as quickly as he possibly can. Just going to be hoping that he can possibly hold on to this position and not lose another one. So, Bozico versus Machowski. Looking over that rear wing of the 174 car, looking back towards Bozico. We'd seen a fair few times that Ferrari's been able to close right up and trying to do it here. Seeing a decent run. Who gets the better exit? It was definitely a big time gain there for Bozico. It's not quite as long of a straight. The Aston isn't going to have the advantage it had before. You can see Bozico goes all the way to the right hand side, gets a little bit of a touch of the tyres, swings it in, trying to take that tighter line. He's lost a little bit of exit speed though. Trying to take a tighter line, it didn't quite work. Under braking, tries to close up again, not quite able to do it. Can he do anything down into Worth? Again, not quite able to do it. Alavi, McGonigal and Zorich now all into the pits. This one beginning to heat up. This obviously was pretty much the out lap, well, sorry, the second lap for the BMW now. But seems to be struggling to get the pace that he had pre-pit stop. Again, Law is going to... Oh, sorry, not Law. Crows is going to push pretty hard, but he knows not to make any silly moves. He just needs to finish and get some points, and he can walk away with the championship win. Obviously, sometimes the red mist will descend, and you just want to try and gain as many positions as you possibly can on the circuit. But the last thing he will want to do is throw away his championship by not scoring any points and allowing Azar to come on through. In fact, I don't think that at the moment Azar... Well, technically is in second, because Brogan's in the pits now. So if Azar finishes where he is and Crows gets no points, then he will take the championship. But he's going to have to take something pretty drastic. But still 24 minutes left to go this race. Many, many things can happen. Nathaniel Shirley jumping on board with him. Chasing off at the back of Satam. He's got Zorich up behind him. Saying Nathaniel Shirley, he's been a very quick driver this season, and just sadly been involved in a couple of incidents that have really sort of plagued with bad luck. We've seen him towards the front, we've seen him towards the back. He's had a real mixed bag of results. So he's still 6th in the championship. So he's had his best finish was in round 3, where he came across the line in 3rd place. Where was that to? That was at Bathurst, yeah. So the Mustang feeling very much at home in Bathurst. But I say he had a DNF in round 2. That really has affected his championship. That one missed round with 0 points. And it really is enough to completely throw your championship to the wind, really. And it is a real shame. And a quick look at the battles more towards the front. So back with Azar at the moment. In fact, Dorber, this is the one to keep an eye on. Melvin Crows versus Dorber. Again, Crows is probably going to want to try and hold on to that final podium position. But it is not worth having a spin or having a big accident and completely dropping outside of the points. Bozico's a first driver to full claim to the dreaded drive-through penalty. That will be for track limit offences. Does look like Crows is just trying to pick up the pace though, seeing what he can do, see if he can regain the advantage, and he has managed to pull away from Dorber. Dorber was definitely looking like the sort of more offensive driver in those two. Right, jumping back now, Callens versus Brogan, and just at the right time. Callens is going to be on the outside for the penultimate turn. What can he do? Tries to hold it all around the outside. They're still going to be side by side as they go towards the final one. And he does. Callens managed to come across. Takes the nose away from Declan Brogan. And the K-Pax racing machine loses 1 position. Can he try and do anything back here at turn 1? It's going to be on the brakes. Super late. Tries to take it as wide as possible. Getting a faster line, possibly. The pair of them run out onto the sausage curb. Managing to keep it together. Robert Arlavi as well, sniffing around the back. And then we've got more going on back here as well. Fernandez versus Oreshkin. Oh, sorry, Vermaak versus Oreshkin as well. It's now becoming a 3-way battle for 13th place. Both BMWs very, very wide at turn 1. Some mighty close stuff going on, and it has to be said that everyone has kept it very clean. About 2/3 of the race now done, and we haven't really had any major incidents. Although side by side through Worth, through they go, and that is Vermaak taking the position away from the Red Panda Racing team. Andrea Oreshkin will be very disappointed in that. Car number 134 losing a position to a fellow BMW driver. Up in front, Brogans versus Callens, and now versus Arlavi. This has now become a 3-way battle. We saw Brogan take the position, but now that gap has closed right up, and Robert Arlavi is very much on the attack as well. He's in a prime position to possibly try and gain 2 positions at once. Here they go. It looks to the inside. It was a bit of a Callens trying to go defensive and also on the offensive at the same time. And I think he's starting to get a little bit scrappy. But we are definitely starting to see a little bit of a struggle, I think, from Callens trying to hold back Robert Arlavi. He's been very quick as well, Robert Arlavi, this season. Is Robert Arlavi finding himself down in 19th place in the championship. Best finish has been a 13th, so he'll be pleased if he can get a little bit further up. He's set to do his best finish of the season so far. So, had a bit of a late joiner here in the... bit of a late joiner in the H6A ICGT Racing Esports. Sherlin George. In fact, a very late entry. Don't think they'll score any points. I think they've only done 4 laps so far. We're just coming in to take part in the final race. Bit of testing, bit of free testing. It's always good to do. Oh, Nathaniel Shirley and his day just goes from bad to worse, picking up the drive-through penalty as well now. It is not what he wanted to do. Vermac, though, very much on the offensive and is coming after the back of Fernando. This earlier on was looking like maybe Fernando was kind of out in the weeds all by himself, but now he's suddenly got a BMW absolutely up his backside. Incredibly close. Getting the smallest mistake and it would have come together there. But at the moment, Fernando not wavering, not going defensive, just sticking to his fastest lines. He obviously feels like he has the pace to maintain the position over Vermac. All the while, these two squabbling, and we're going to probably start to get Oreshkin catching up with them if they squabble too much. But for now, Fernando is just trying to hold on to his position through sheer pace alone. Can he hold on to it here at turn 1? Yes, he can. Car looking very planted. Just saw Vermac go very, very wide, though, down at turn 1. Nathaniel Shirley coming in to serve that drive-through penalty. We've got things going on up in front as well. Robert Arlavi trying to go around the outside of Callins. This one is absolutely neck and neck. They're side by side down towards turn 3. Callins is going to have the inside line if he can hold on to it, but Robert Arlavi now flies to the outside, trying to brake as late as possible. Is he going to have enough pace to come across and try and close the nose? Yeah, he does get it done. Callins goes all the way to the outside to try and maintain as much pace as possible, but just not being able to hang on to the back of the car number 189 of Robert Arlavi. Guardi Racing will be very, very pleased with that one. Up to 11th place, set for his best finish of the season. But Callins is not going to give up easily. He will be hunting around the back, trying to go for the position. This one as well, further back as in the grid a little bit, is Fernando versus Vermac, still kicking off. And look, while they've been squabbling, here comes Oreshkin. Again, hoping to try and take advantage, possibly get 2 for 1. Only takes the smallest mistake from these two drivers, and they're almost going to be side by side. It's going to have to be a bit of a move up the inside by Vermac into turn 1. Oh, they do get together in the braking zone. The Mercedes sent flying way, way wide. A big flash of the lights to say, hang on a second, that was out of order. And that will almost definitely be a penalty for Vermac. Best thing he could do is give the position back, and he does, but he almost loses the position. Then to Oreshkin. So with all of that, Oreshkin now gets back into the battle. Good idea, though, for Vermac to give that position back. It means he will not face the post-race penalty. Definitely a smart thing to do. The last thing you want to do is the final race of the season is find out you lose it afterwards. Right, coming into this one, Oliver Braun, the HQTH Sim Racing, squabbling it out with Wachowski and Scheckerman. This is the battle for 19th place, sorry. 14 minutes of the race and change left to go. And he's just about starting to pull away. Scheckerman now looking like the main sort of offensive driver here. Still see, according to the time wheel, Fernando is still fighting it out as well. These three have just spread out that little bit, jumping back on it. Are we going to see another move here into turn 1? Vermac knows he's later on the brakes. Are we going to get another touch? Not quite. Vermac did seem to have to brake for a little bit longer than he wanted to, though. It's going to be in a decent position now, those that come down towards turn 2. Going to be on the outside. No, switches back to the inside. Can he do something under braking here? It's going to have to be a bit of a lunge to get it done. Fernando gives him room at the apex, but Fernando is going to have the better exit speed. He could maintain more mid-corner speed, and that Mercedes is not going to roll over easily in a straight line. They just about get together, a little bit of paint rubbing between them, and the Mercedes does just about have his nose in front as it comes into the braking zone. He's going to be wide here, but we've seen a few times that's been optimal. No, Vermac does just about manage to do it, just about manages to squeeze through. Oh! And car number 23 of Fernando outbrakes himself there and ends up losing a position, and even worse than that, also takes Vermac, and so through went Oreshkin and gained 2 positions. I did say it's the perfect thing to do, sometimes sit behind those battles and just wait. See if someone in front of you makes the mistake and opens up the gap, and there we go, Oreshkin gains the position. And now, essentially, Oreshkin should be able to just about hold on to this. If he can just keep Vermac behind him, then Fernando will catch up, and those two will squabble. And squabble they will. Look at them now, absolutely going for it. So, Oreshkin, the big winner in that one. Vermac and Fernando, both of them now squabbling it out, trying to catch up. Doing everything they possibly can to try and make the move. The gap at the front still isn't very big as well, but now here we go. We've got Fernando trying to go around the outside. Can he get it done? I don't think he quite can. In fact, we can look over the... Can we look over the rear wing? Yes, we can. Looking over the rear wing back at Oreshkin versus Vermac. This is Vermac versus Fernando. Mercedes versus BMW. They squabbled it out a lap ago. They got together just here. It was a case that Fernando outbraked himself. Could not get that car turned in. I know, absolute shocker. Someone couldn't get the Mercedes to turn into a corner. No one's ever heard of that before, I'm sure. And now Vermac is chasing after the back of Oreshkin. Can he do anything about it? Ben Gilroy is starting to come under attack from Azar. Sort of up near the front, things have just started to settle in a little bit. Not too much happening, just about 11 minutes left of the race. This one is still definitely on there. Oreshkin versus Vermac. Vermac looked like he braked a little bit early there to try and stay behind Oreshkin just for that turn 1. Hopefully going to try and get a better run now down the hill. Oreshkin going defensive, sticks to that left-hand side of the circuit. He wants to try and hold on to the inside. Sort of plants the car in the middle of the circuit. Good run by Vermac, though. He's going to try and go to the outside. Does just about keep it off the painted stuff and gets a good grip, but as well, so does Fernando. Though Oreshkin just drops a nose behind. He can't quite get the door closed, I don't think. And he's still there at turn 3 up the inside. They do rub ever so slightly. But Oreshkin keeping it fair and trying to do as much as possible to try and keep these cars behind. Vermac again looks to the inside and oh, they come together and off goes Oreshkin, and Vermac goes off to the inside as well, although I think he just about somehow managed to hold on to the position. But Fernando now coming through. Oreshkin loses quite a few positions there, now drops in behind Sims. Getting a little bit squabbly here in the middle of the pack. These two now, though, absolutely nose to tail, fighting it out. And Oreshkin now finds himself following after the back of Sims. A little bit further down the order than he probably would have wanted to be. Further back as well. So Tam being chased down by Braun and Scheckerman. There must have been a chunk at turn 1 there, I think. So jumping back on the replay, we'll go to the helicam so we can get a really good idea of what's going on. So this is the final turn. So we saw Fernando was our driver that we saw miles off. So what does he do under braking here? Just tries to brake way too late and ends up going really wide. Ends up losing positions there. Again finds himself in behind Oreshkin. But now he's got himself into a whole fresh battle. And speaking of fresh battles, Oreshkin versus Sims. Here we go. Oreshkin looks to the inside under braking. He's given just enough room there. Sims tries to hold it out on the outside. What can he do? And in fact, staying to the outside, he's now opened the door up, and through comes Fernando as well. And trying to catch up with them again is Zoric as well. All these cars absolutely side by side. It's going to be nearly 3 wide into the penultimate turn. It was never going to work. They did back out. Decent thinking there, I think, from Zoric to maybe abandon that attack. These two still absolutely squabbling. You can hear the moment the foot gets planted. Oh! Fernando and Zoric getting together pretty tastily. 7 minutes 43 seconds of the race left to go. You can see Fernando really is pushing super hard to try and gain any kind of advantage. Car number 42 of Sims makes a mistake at the apex though. Takes a big chunk of curb, and they're going to have to be careful. They are now being caught up. Zoric is getting the optimum position over Fernando. Can he do anything here under braking? It's nearly going to be 3 wide. No, it's not. He does look to the inside though. And now Fernando, from battling pretty much just outside the top 10, now finds himself tumbling down into the mid-teens, and he is under attack from Satam as well now. Sims and the 175 got together there. It all got a little bit bumpy there, didn't it? We'll go back to here. Yeah, you can just see it gets rotated round. Mercedes gets collected as well. Everyone else gets on the brakes. Pretty nicely done. But yeah, Fernando's day just goes from bad to worse. Now finds himself up against the Porsche of Scheckerman. 6.5 minutes left of the race to go. Fernando's managed to just about pull away, and it's now Braun versus Scheckerman versus Machowski. Oh, Machowski gets a little bit wobbly there on the exit of that penultimate turn. The car looked super unsettled. He did manage to snatch it back into some sort of grace and decorum, but it was mighty, mighty close to being a big old whoopsie moment. So just under 6 minutes left of the race. Things are still looking rather tasty at the moment. Fernando versus Braun versus Scheckerman versus Machowski. And to be fair, I think that is McGonigal as well. He's started to catch up with the back of them. And then Sims as well is not far away. It isn't impossible that these drivers are going to start to close right up on each other. Dorber is in front of Kroos. Not sure when that happened. Again, I think it's probably a case of Kroos trying not to defend too hard. Doesn't want to cause any kind of problems. So we missed that one when we were keeping an eye on that absolutely insane midfield battle. Again, Azar does not have enough of an advantage over Dorber to take the championship away. In fact, as it stands, if everyone crosses the line as they are, I think the championship top 3 pretty much stays exactly as it was. So Dorber is outscoring Law. Rose has still got enough of an advantage to hold on to it, and Azar is outscoring Dorber. So realistically, the top 3 in the championship will stay exactly as they are if things continue to go the way they are. Oh, we have got number 3. What happened there? We're going to go back 30 seconds to try and spot what happened. So this is Braun. This is Fernando behind him. This is down at turn 1. We've gone back 30 seconds. Hopefully we're going to see what happened there. Fairly good old run, and then suddenly it just looks like his car just pulls over to the side. So I'm not sure what happened there, but that car has now pulled over. It's now got itself going again. I wonder if maybe that was a mechanical failure. They managed to reset the car and get it going again. But yeah, big losses for them. Fernando who was looking so incredibly strong, now finds himself very much in the clutches of Scheckerman and McGonigal. Two drivers that are absolutely hungry for positions. This is the battle for 17th place. Doesn't matter whether you're battling for first or last. Everyone will race as if it is the absolute importance of their life to try and get through. And there is a look to the inside there. Scheckerman does end up going super wide and loses a position there to McGonigal. Looks like Sims is going to try and get round Machuski as well. Under braking, is it going to happen? No, it's not. Oh, but he did go deep. Sims. The Kessel Racing gets the work done, applied the pressure, just forced the mistake, and off it went. Right, this one starting to heat back up a little bit. Crows versus Dorber. 2 minutes 20 seconds of the race left to go. We've got back markers in front. Oh, Zetec, who was running in 7th place, has just picked up a drive-through penalty, and that will be for track limit infringements. That is going to see them tumble down the order. That is a big sting this late in the race as well. No chance to really regain anything after that. So, a bit of a shame. Fernando versus McGonigal. So, Fernando, we saw him get through on Scheckerman a lap ago, and now he is trying to chase after the back of the car number 23, that lovely looking AMG Mercedes. It actually is looking a little bit worse for wear at the front. Big bounce there over the curbs. That surely was going to affect the exit speed of the corner, and yes, it has. McGonigal opens up the taps on that whacking great engine in the Mustang. Throws it up the inside, gets it done. He had all the pace in the world there. He had the exit speed. But now Fernando has a much better exit down at turn 2. It's going to be a bit of a drag race again between the Mercedes and the Mustang. Your money's pretty much on the Mustang to win that drag race. It might not be the most outright win in the world, but it should outpace the Mustang. I mean, outpace the AMG Mercedes in a straight line. Obviously, the balanced performance, keeping all the lap times reasonably equal, but every car will have slight advantages in different areas. But McGonigal doing a really good job now of trying to pull away, and Scheckerman doing a lovely job of trying to nip around the rear of Fernando. Right, we're going to go back up towards the leaders because I don't think we're going to get another lap out of this one. So, Ben Gilroy for Optimum Motorsport has had an absolute storming race. Looks like he's coming across the line any moment now. 2 corners left to go. This is definitely going to be the final lap. He's just behind Nathaniel Shirley. Big round of applause for Gilroy, it has to be said. This is going to be it. As he comes across the line, this should be all said and done. Big flash of the lights. He's happy about that one. Azar coming across in 2nd place. Joe Dorber 3rd. Melvin Crows in 4th. But that does mean the championship goes the way of Melvin Crows for Sector Blitz Racing. It has been an absolutely fantastic race for everyone involved. We're going to quickly jump back and see if we can keep an eye on that battles that we saw going on. This one's still raging on towards the end. Oh no, Fernando picks up a drive-through penalty. So after all of that battling, the day has gone from bad to worse for Fernando. It's all gone a little bit Pete Tong for them. Zetec finds himself side by side with Callins. Just manages to hold on to 10th place at the line. They were very, very close after his drive-through penalty, but I think 10th place after drive-through penalty is a very, very strong effort indeed. But obviously a little bit of frustration showing there. Not what they would have wanted at all to have the finish that they did. But goodness gracious, what a season it has been. Again, it's been absolutely fantastic. Let's have a little bit of a look at the old timetable as they came across the line. So, pole position was Gilroy, second place was Azar, Joe Dauber in third, Crows fourth, Law in fifth, Vierves sixth, Chirich seventh, Leashout in eighth, Brogan ninth, Callins 10th, Arlavi 11th, 12th was Vermac. Oh, and time board just changed. Thank you very much for that. Love it when it does that. Give me 1 second. We were in 12th, weren't we? Vermac, Orishkin in... Oh, and everyone's leaving, and so it's completely messing up everything. Let's just have to go to timetables. There we go. Right. Robert Arlavi, 12th. Vermac, 13th. Orishkin, 14th place. Zorich in 15th place. Satam, 16th. McGonagall comes home in 17th. Sheckerman, 18th. Sims in 19th. J. Jans in 20th. Bozico, 21st. Braun, 22nd. 23rd for Nathaniel Shirley after we saw him pick up that drive-through. Machowski, 24th. Fernando, 25th. And our very late joiner was George. But one absolutely fantastic season it has been again. Hopefully we're going to get some brave souls that will come in and have a little bit of a chat with us. I know not always English being the first language can be a little bit scary for people. But fingers crossed we do get someone come in, because that was absolutely fantastic. As far as I can tell, with my very small little brain, I believe things stay in the same order. We're going to move across to a slightly nicer looking screen rather than just that. We'll move across to here. Everyone loves this view. It's a wonderful little view. And for now, I think we'll do a little bit of maths quickly. So hopefully we might get someone to come and join us. It'd be a real shame if we don't. We're sort of waiting on this. But if my maths is correct, I believe it is still going to be Melvin Crows, our championship winner, Imran Azar coming home in second place in the championship, and Joe Dauber in third. It has been an absolutely fantastic season. One of the best seasons in Tier 2 we've had in a very long time. Sometimes they get a little bit choppy. Same in Tier 1. Sometimes they can all be a little bit just all to the same. And there we go. It looked absolutely brilliant the whole way through. It's looking like we're not going to get anyone coming in for a chat, which is a real shame. But such is the way. But that is, sadly, the end of Season 16 here for Apex Online Racing, brought to you by Driver61 and our lovely patrons. If you want to get involved in next season, keep an eye on the Discord. Link for that is available in the description below this stream. Do get involved. It's not just Tier 1, Tier 2. It goes all the way down to Tier 10 if necessary. Even me, an awful driver, has managed to get a decent bit of racing before I then started doing Tier 1 and Tier 2. And now I don't get any time to race at all. So yeah, a little bit of the off season, but then we will be coming back with the sort of autumn winter season. It is really good. The racing's always fantastic. The weather's rubbish outside anyway, so why not play a little bit of motorsport? But if you don't want to play racing, then you can always come along and watch with us. You are always welcome. Monday nights from 7:30 is Tier 1, and Tuesday nights is Tier 2 from 7:30. It is always an absolute pleasure to be doing this. I have been Tim360 Learn, and this has been AOR Season 16.